On the punt returns, obviously, I'm sure neither of those guys wanted that to happen, but what's the coaching point for Keyshawn and Jaden on those? Different situations, obviously, though. Like,
what do you think the coaching point would be, Bill? What would you tell them?
Well, on Keyshawn, I don't know what happened. Did the wind get the ball last minute? Or I guess I don't know what happened on that.
I haven't talked to him about it, so I don't really know what happened either, but you've got one of two options. You have to either catch the ball or you have to call everybody off and get everybody out of the way. So obviously that was a big mistake. And then the other one, once you start back, I do think it's a little bit harder when you're not aligned on like the 10-yard line. I think I don't know where he was aligned pre-snap, Jaden Reed, if he was at like the 20, and then you start going backwards. I think he just obviously lost track of where he was because, I mean, that's a no-brainer. You let that ball go when you get too far inside that 10-yard line. So obviously two big mistakes that we have got to get corrected.
Was that as creative as Hafley had been this year? Because, yeah, you blitzed, but a lot of times they were blitzing guys, but still only rushing 4.
Yeah, a lot of we call replacement fire zones. Yeah, he did a nice job of mixing up the coverage behind those pressures. And, I mean, we had multiple times we had free runners at the quarterback. I do think we need to finish a little bit better in some of those situations where, and you got to give CJ a lot of credit. He's a really good quarterback. He's strong. He's athletic. And he was able to get out of some of those sacks. But to be able to put the kind of pressure on him certainly had a huge impact on the game. I thought overall, our defense, for the most part, there were a couple plays where Mixon got loose on us, and then there was one play where we didn't carry the special, the deep over route. That was an explosive play, but I thought for the most part our defense played as well as they've had all season long.
Matt, it's been a journey with your kicking situation since the start of last year. What's going through your mind as you're watching this guy that you just met line up with you on the line from the sideline?
Well, there was a lot going on through my mind, but it was more or less just, I think anytime, it was unfortunate, I would say in the moment, that we had to be in that situation. I think a lot of times when you're just Rolodexing all the mistakes that you made or misops to kind of put yourself in that position. So never want to put somebody in that position, but I mean, shoot, a lot of these games are going to go down to a last-second field goal. You saw it in Detroit, Minnesota game as well. Tired there, Jason?
No.
Am I boring you? Okay. But yeah, it's just, we're fortunate that he's been in those situations before. So I know somebody was standing next to Byron, and Byron's like, yeah, no problem. He's gonna make it. So yeah, I think we had a lot of confidence in him.
We talk about galvanizing moments. As a team, did you just need to see the ball go through the uprights there? I mean, it's been a tough couple of years in that phase.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, to have a last-second field goal to win the game, I mean, that was big time.
Back to the pass rush that Rob was talking about, is that a reliable, talk about Rashawn kind of moving around and some of those middle rushes they had, is that a pretty reliable way to get him freed up?
Potentially. I think every game plan is going to be a little bit different in terms of how you want to attack somebody. And you don't want to just do it the same thing over and over again. People will plan for that. And but I do think, it was a creative way to get him isolated on whoever we want to get him isolated on.
So from your perspective, when you're, as an offensive guy, and when you're seeing their top pass rusher doing that kind of thing, what challenges does it present to you?
Well, it presents a lot of challenges in regards to just who are you going to put on him and how do you get him blocked, and then typically what happens when you have somebody that's hovering around in there, there's going to be some sort of pick game or something coming off of that. It's not just going to be usually just a straight rush. So it just depends on what people are doing in those situations.
Even if you can't do that, keep doing that every week. Do you think that what happened yesterday with him and the pressure he got kind of got him going? I know, his production was probably not where he wanted it to be the first 6 games. Is that a good jumping off point, you think, for him?
Yeah, I think, yeah. Again, anytime you're getting the quarterback, especially getting him to move off the spot, it's hard to throw accurately. I mean, you saw it on the one interception by Jordan. We got edged, and he had to take a hitch, and as he was hitching, he was moving to his left, and you tend to be less accurate when you have to make drastic movements in the pocket.
One first down, is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, first play of series.
Was were his feet right on that, or was that just a bad decision? Because it looked like he was definitely fading away a little bit.
Yeah, again, that's why it takes all 11, right? That play we had dialed up 4-3 deep, 4 under. They came out, they did a good job of mixing up their coverages. They played man coverage. And so, but even in man, you still like that matchup, Christian Watson on a runaway versus a corner. But that's the protection aspect. It takes everybody. I like the timing of which he threw. It's harder to throw when you have to take a drastic movement and you're hitching and your body's going to the left. We always want the quarterbacks to hitch up in the pocket, and not, sideways or perpendicular to the line of scrimmage.
Are you still okay with him throwing it there, or would you rather just see the ball go somewhere else?
Well, I think it totally depends. I never want to speak in absolutes when we're talking about the quarterback. Certainly, hindsight being 2020, I'd say, yeah, let's go somewhere else with this. I also think that we can do some things. There were some plays that we had in the game plan where we wanted for man coverage out of the same set where we could do something a little bit different for him, so we get more of these premier plays called against the coverages that we'd like them designed to go against. So I don't know if I answered your question, but I would think that collectively we could put our guys in a little bit better position.
When's the last time you gave a coach a game ball? Maybe there's more that you give out that we don't see on those videos, and I know it's the time you like to highlight the players. What made you want to do that for Jeff yesterday?
I just thought he's done a hell of a job. I really do. And I think it's not just him. It's always it's everybody, right? Our whole defensive staff. But ultimately, somebody's got to put the plan together and call it. And I thought, just considering all the circumstances, a really explosive offense. You had 2 drives start on the 11-yard line, another drive start on like the 45-yard line. There's just a lot of short fields in there, and to be able to hold somebody to 22 points, considering all those circumstances, I thought he was deserving of the game ball. And then, not to mention, and it was great, it was awesome by Eric Wilson. I thought he came in and did a really nice job. But that is a big loss when you lose your middle linebacker who calls the defense. It takes Eric did a great job filling in that role, and it's even more remarkable considering he didn't even get any reps at the Mike position really all week. To step in and do that, that's big time credit for Eric Wilson.
Speaking of Halfley, so he would love to get pressure with 4, right? And he's told us a bunch of times that's ideal, but
that's I would say every defense would love to be able to play just zone defense and you let your pass rushers go.
So my question is the mark of a good coordinator one who can see that things aren't going to work or aren't working during the game and make changes, as opposed to kind of saying, hey, this is what we do and we're going to keep doing it? And is that one of his strengths? Because it seems like he's done a lot of different things.
Yeah, he's done. He's. I think he sees the game the right way. I think he obviously has great just understanding of football, and then our jobs as coaches, kind of what I was talking about in terms of, I wish we would have had a better play dialed up for Jordan on one of those picks, is to put our players in the best position possible, and I think he's done a great job of that.
We're critical of yourself in terms of getting into a play calling rhythm. Why, once you've watched the tape now, why did you think it was so hard? Just the way the game played out, or what was it that he couldn't get into a great rhythm?
Yeah, I think there's a number of factors to that. I mean, you know, whether it's, there were certain plays that we probably should have got more out of. And there were times when we had good plays and, you know, they brought pressure or whatever. And, you know, we didn't always protect the best, I'd say. So I just think it's, I don't know, there's a lot of variables that played into that. But certainly when you have whatever was 5 3-and-outs, it's usually not a great day at the office for that side of the ball.
This is connected to that, but when you go into a game week, I'm assuming as a play caller, it starts with Jordan getting this passing game because that's Sean plays. When you have a running back like Josh, who the more carries he gets, the more he wears on a defense, the more he might break one off. What's the balance in trying to incorporate that as well when you do have this big quarterback that you want to build a game plan on?
Yeah, I mean, for us, it always starts with really the run game. But it's, when you think about this league, when you factor in 2-minute and third down, predominantly you're going to be in pass situations. In order to get more runs called, you have got to keep the sticks moving. You've got to convert third down and get first downs. And it's hard to get a run game going when you have 5 3-and-outs. And then we had another drive where it's one play interception. And I think the first drive of the game, I think it was a 4-play drive, and we throw a pick. And so I just never felt like we got into a very good rhythm offensively. And so it's hard to give him the amount of carries that you'd love to give him. I think when you look at it, I would say this is probably true for most teams in football, especially in this league. If you're getting, 30 rushes in a game, it's probably going to go your way more times than not.
Do you have a target for him each week that you want to get him in terms of carries? Or
Not
does it
necessarily. I think it just depends on the flow of the game. But ideally, in a perfect world for me, yeah, I'd love to get him 20-plus touches some way. Usually that means we're in more of those rundown situations where you have the luxury to do that.
Matt, I had asked Josh Jacobs about getting his first NFL receiving touchdown. He said it was great, but he's not even going to keep the football. He's going to give it to Jordan since it was his 50th career passing touchdown. I know you guys brought him here for his ability for what he does on the field, but can you just speak to the character also that he brings and just the fact that he's doing that?
Yeah, he's awesome. He is a great leader, great teammate. Just a great example for everybody. He's totally selfless in what he does. So he's been a great addition to our locker room, and kind of that's I got to give Ben a ton of credit too. Just that's kind of the culture that we have is certainly in that room. Just thinking about all the guys that have been here, coming from that room, they've all been kind of that same mold. So they all do a great job. Ben does a great job leading them. But if I know Jordan, like I think I know Jordan, I'm pretty sure he's going to tell Josh to keep that ball.
With the running backs, what have you seen out of Chris Brooks? He was in for the last 4 plays of the game yesterday, and he had like 3 excellent blitz pickups on those. What did you see going into the game to give him? Obviously, it's a do-or-die situation. You had him in the game.
Yeah, he's done a great job since the moment we got him. He's a very intelligent guy. Definitely can contribute on teams as well. Just has been excellent in understanding the protection scheme. Obviously, he's coming from a very similar system when he was down in Miami, being with them. So he was familiar with our version of how we do our 6-man protection. And he's reliable, consistent, and does a great job. We've seen it in practice. So that's why he was in there at the end of the game.
Marcus outscored opponents 34-12 in the second half in the last 3
Who has?
games. You guys outscored your opponents 34-12 in the second half of the last 3 games. What's it about this team and the halftime adjustments that's impressed you?
That's a great question. I didn't even know that or think about that. I just try to think about ways to win the football game. But no, I think it's a credit to everybody in terms of just the mindset of playing 4 quarters. That's something we talk about all the time, just being consistent. Certainly there's going to be adjustments that, you have to make. Hopefully we can score more points from an offensive perspective, but our defense obviously is doing a great job with that.
Every time I talk to your players about 2-minute offense, the response is, we drill that every day.
Pretty much.
And so in order to get all 11 to understand the situation, when to get out of bounds, when to get over the ball, the timeouts are left, where did you pick that up in your coaching career, or how much have you developed that in Green Bay?
I would say it's pretty standard wherever you go. We practice that on our Thursdays. We go live, not live, but tag off against the defense. But it's offense versus defense, and there's situations that come up. Got a lot of practice with it throughout the course of training camp. Are always harping on the little details that come up in terms of how you respond if you catch a ball outside the numbers. Typically, your thought process should be get out of bounds. If you're inside the numbers, get vertical. And I think we had a pretty young group a year ago. We made a lot of mistakes in 2-minute situations, from playing to coaching to all of us. So I think last year we learned a lot in those situations of what to do and what not to do. But ultimately, it's a credit to our players to be able to take whatever it is we're coaching and then bring it to life on the field. And I thought our execution yesterday was pretty solid. I still think there was some things that we could clean up and have opportunities to really slam the door shut there. But I thought all in all, that was a good step in the right direction.
You always talk about.
Is it okay?
It's his world.
You always talk about doing your 111th, or it takes all 11. You did it again today. I'm wondering, you have a punter who kicks the heck out of the ball for you and gets the snap down. You got Eric Wilson, who comes in when you lose your mic and plays the way he does. How important is that for the culture and the success of a team to have the 111 stuff come through with guys that aren't your stars, that you probably don't win the game without them?
Yeah, it's extremely important. I think the more guys that can contribute to the success of the team, I think the better we're obviously going to be, and the more ways you can find to win football games. I thought our defense and certainly our punter had a big part in our ability to win that game yesterday. We can't turn the ball over like we did. Two of those drives started on the 11-yard line. So it's been very, very few times I think I've seen when you lose the turnover battle by three possessions or three takeaways and you come out on top. So it was great by our guys, just the resiliency they showed and continued to compete and battle. But we knew it was going to take probably all of the 4 quarters to get it done.
Real quick, just for clarity, did you say that on Thursdays you still practice O versus D? Is that the continuation from what you started last year?
Yeah. We always have a competition period every day anyways. Just because you never know what you're going to get in the game, potentially. You have an idea going into, that's why you game plan and all that, but it is good to have some unscouted looks where you can practice, whatever plays you want to play, and you just go full speed with it.
So did your boss give you how rare it is to do what you guys did yesterday?
No, he did.
So you're currently 2-2 in your career. This is from Fanning.
Okay.
You're 2-2 when you've lost the turnover battle.
We are?
Yeah.
We are.
You're
Green Bay
2.
Packers.
Yes, under you.
Okay.
But since 2000, this is incredible. It is incredible. Teams that lost the turnover battle by 3 or more, 90 wins, 1,161 losses,
Yeah.
and 3 ties.
Yeah.
That wasn't a question, I just thought.
That's cool. Fun fact for the day. You guys good?
Yeah.
All right. Have a great day.